Hey fourth graders, we're going to be working on the case of the gasping garbage. The words in our list this week are contractions, where you take two words and you squish them together to make a new word. These are the patterns of the contractions that we'll be working on today. If we have a word and the word not and we want to combine them together, we'll drop the O and add an apostrophe for not. If we have a word in front of is or has and we want to make it a contraction, we use an apostrophe S. This does not show ownership. If you want to do ownership of something, the possessive version, you would use an apostrophe S, but that's not what this apostrophe S is representing. And when we get into the words, you'll see how that occurs. If you have a word in front of R, you'll use an apostrophe R-E. In other words, you drop the A in R. If you have a word in front of have, you will drop the first part of the word of have, the H and the A, and the apostrophe V-E is there. The apostrophe essentially lets people know part of the word has been chopped off. I've made it shorter. Okay, so that's where the apostrophe is representing. Just to let you know, I've been kind of sick this weekend, but I still have to make these videos, so I may be sniffling and coughing, those kinds of things, but I need to get this video done for you so that you'll be ready to ace your test. Alright, the first word is going to be do and not are going to be put together. It's going to be don't. I don't know why do, ooh, changes to O. I'm not sure why. But it's don't. D, O, N, T. D, O, N, apostrophe T. Because we're dropping that O, the apostrophe shows that something of that word is missing. Don't. The next words we'll combine is will and not. Will and not. We don't say wilt. We have to change the base word, or the first word. The contraction is won't. W, O, N, T. W, O, N, T. Apostrophe T. Don't and won't. Those are the long O sounds. The next two will combine as would and not. Will be wouldn't, wouldn't, would, n't, is spelled O-U in this word, d, but we have an L over here. It's a silent L to go with the D. If you want to, you could put a slash through the L. It still has to be spelled there, but is not said. It's a silent L. Would, n, t, apostrophe T. Wouldn't. The next combination is does and not. Does not is doesn't. D, z, n, t. D. The bubble comes first. It's actually the schwa sound. The schwa sound can be represented by lots of different vowels. In this word, it's the O. Z is represented by the ES. See, because the first part of the word, does, is the same. And then the N, T, apostrophe T, because we're just dropping the O and squishing the two words together. Doesn't. The next two words are was, not. Wasn't. Was, n't. The first sound is w. It's the schwa again. Z, About 64% of the time, z is represented by the S. Was, t. Alright, I'm going to have to get extra space. It's a long word. Should and not. The only change is we're going to drop that O in not. Shouldn't. Sh, d, nt. Let me scoot this up for you. There we go. Shouldn't. Shh. It's the SH digraph, two letters that make one sound, so it goes in one box. Sh. Is spelled O-U. D. It's the D, but we have that silent L again. Should, apostrophe t. Should not is shouldn't. The next word is could and not. Couldn't. Could, nt. Spell O-U in this word, just like should, could. D, but we've got that silent L. Apostrophe T. You see how I put all the ones with the not word first in our list so we could get used to that spelling pattern. Most of the words, except for will not, all of the words, the first word is still the same. All we add is the N, take out the O, make it an apostrophe, and then add the T. After couldn't, we had not. Had not. Hadn't. Add, nt. Add, apostrophe t. Hadn't. What about are not? Are nt. Are is going to be in one box. R, that's an R-controlled vowel and a silent E. I couldn't find in any of my books why that silent E is with it, because it does not make a sound. And R is an R-controlled vowel. The A would not be in a box by itself because it's not A-er, it's R, which is that R-controlled vowel sound. So, R goes in one box. Apostrophe t. And the last one for this video is have not. Have and not. Just a quick lesson. There is no word in the English language that ends in a V. You can have a V sound, but there's always an E after the V in an English word. That's also true for J's. There's no English word that ends in a J. If it ends in a J, it's always going to have an E after it. That's why this silent E does not make that say its long sound. A, it's not have, it's have. It's really a closed syllable, one vowel followed by one or more consonants. The vowel is short, A, but the E is protecting the V from the end of the word. Okay, so that's just an extra little lesson for you. So we have and not, and the word is haven't. A, v, n, t. A, v, n, t. Now we've got this E. We need to put the E with the V, because remember the E is protecting the V from the end of the word. We can circle that to kind of remind us about the E is working with the V. Okay, so we're going to stop right there. So that's all the nots on your list. The not contractions. And the easiest way to do the contraction is drop that O and put the apostrophe between the N and the T. Alright, come back for part 2 and we'll do some different kinds of contractions.